June 15th, 2023, Emma Rodriguez was seconds away from losing everything when three bullies cornered her outside the graduation ceremony and ripped the envelope containing $8,000 in scholarship money right out of her hands. What happened in the parking lot just 5 minutes later would change her life forever, as 45 leather-clad bikers rolled up on their Harleys and surrounded her. But why would a notorious motorcycle club care about one bullied girl's stolen graduation money? Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from, and if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow I've saved something extra special for you. The gymnasium of Roosevelt High School echoed with the sound of sneakers squeaking against polished wood. Emma Rodriguez wiped the sweat from her forehead as she adjusted her welding mask, the blue flame from her torch casting dancing shadows across the metal frame in front of her. "That's it, Emma. Perfect angle on that joint," Mr. Hendricks called out from across the shop class. "You've got the steadiest hand I've seen in 20 years of teaching." Emma clicked off the torch and lifted her mask, revealing a satisfied smile. The metal sculpture before her, an intricate phoenix rising from flames, was nearly complete. It would be her final project, the centerpiece of her application portfolio for the Massachusetts Institute of Technology's engineering program. "Thanks, Mr. Hendricks. I just hope MIT sees it the same way you do." "Are you kidding? With your grades and this talent, you're exactly what they're looking for." He walked closer, examining the welds. "Your dad would be so proud of you, Emma." Emma's smile faltered for just a moment. She glanced at the small photo taped to her toolbox, her father in his army uniform, smiling beside a Humvee in Afghanistan. He'd been a mechanic in the service, always fixing things, always building. He'd taught her to weld when she was 12, right before his final deployment. "I'm doing this for him," Emma said quietly. "He always said I could build anything I could imagine." The bell rang, and students began filing out. Emma carefully secured her project and grabbed her backpack. As she walked through the hallway, she passed the main bulletin board, where a large poster announced Senior Scholarship Awards Ceremony, June 15th, top students honored. Her best friend, Marcus Chen, jogged up beside her. "Yo, Emma, did you hear? They're announcing the Riverside Community Scholarship winners next week. That's $8,000 for the winner." "8,000? Emma's eyes widened. "Marcus, that would cover my entire first semester at MIT. Books, housing deposit, everything. Well, you've got the best GPA in our class. You're in the robotics club. And you literally built a functioning solar panel system for the school last year. If anyone's getting it, it's you." Emma's phone buzzed. A text from her mother. "Working double shift tonight. Leftover pasta in the fridge. Love you, Mija. Everything okay?" Marcus asked, noticing her expression. "Yeah, Mom's just working a lot. Ever since Dad died, she's been doing doubles at the diner almost every week. The VA benefits help, but it's never quite enough." Emma shook her head. "That's why I need this scholarship. MIT offered me admission, but the financial aid package still leaves a gap. Without that $8,000, I can't accept." They walked past the school parking lot, where a group of seniors clustered around a brand-new BMW. Tyler Brennan leaned against the hood, his Letterman jacket gleaming. Beside him stood his girlfriend Ashley Morrison and their friend Derek Walsh, the trio that had made Emma's high school experience considerably more difficult. "Hey, look!" Tyler called out loudly. "It's the welding wonder." "What's wrong, Rodriguez? Daddy's military pension is not enough to buy you a real car." Emma kept walking, but her jaw tightened. Her rusty 1998 Honda Civic sat in the far corner of the lot, held together by duct tape and determination. "Leave her alone." "Tyler," Marcus said, but Emma grabbed his arm. "It's not worth it. Only 3 more weeks until graduation." 3 more weeks until you leave for summer orientation at MIT, Marcus corrected. "And I leave for Stanford." "We made it out, Emma, despite everything." That evening, Emma sat at the kitchen table of their small apartment, surrounded by papers. College acceptance letters, financial aid forms, scholarship applications. They covered every surface. Her mother, Maria Rodriguez, came home at 11 p.m., exhausted from her shift. "Still up, mija?" "Just going over the numbers again, Mom." Emma gestured to her calculator. If I win the Riverside scholarship, and I work full-time this summer at the auto shop, and I take out the student loans, I can make it work. I can go to MIT. Maria sat down heavily, pulling off her worn waitress shoes. You shouldn't have to work full-time before college. You should be enjoying your summer. Dad worked 2 jobs to save for my college fund before he enlisted. Then he served our country. The least I can do is work 1 summer. Emma reached across and squeezed her mother's hand. Besides, Mr. Patterson at Patterson's Auto Repair says I'm the best young mechanic he's seen. Turns out welding and engine repair go hand in hand. Your father taught you well. Maria's eyes glistened. He had a gift for fixing broken things. He taught me more than that. He taught me that hard work beats privilege every time. That your circumstances don't define your future. Your choices do. Emma gestured to the MIT acceptance letter. This is my choice. I'm going to be an engineer, Mom. I'm going to build things that matter. And I'm going to make Dad's sacrifices mean something. Maria stood and kissed her daughter's forehead. You already have, sweetheart. Every single day. As Emma finally closed her laptop and headed to bed, she paused by the window. In the distance, she could hear the rumble of motorcycle engines. Probably the Iron Brotherhood, the local biker club that congregated at Murphy's bar down the street. People said they were trouble, but Emma had never paid much attention. She had bigger things to focus on. 3 weeks until graduation. 3 weeks until the scholarship ceremony. 3 weeks until her whole future would be decided. She had no idea that the rumbling engines in the distance would soon become the sound of her salvation. 2 weeks before graduation, Emma sat in Principal Blackwell's office alongside her guidance counselor, Mrs. Yolanda Freeman. The atmosphere felt heavy. Emma, your MIT acceptance is contingent on your enrollment deposit being received by June 20th, Mrs. Freeman said gently, sliding a paper across the desk. That's 5 days after graduation. According to their financial aid office, you still have a $7,500 gap. I know. That's why I'm counting on the Riverside scholarship. Emma's voice remained steady, despite her racing heart. Principal Blackwell cleared his throat. Emma, you should know there are 4 finalists this year. You, Tyler Brennan, Jennifer Park, and Michael Foster. The selection committee will announce the winner at the graduation ceremony. Tyler Brennan. Emma couldn't hide her surprise. But his family owns 3 car dealerships. He doesn't need isn't the only criterion, Mrs. Freeman interrupted gently. They also consider community involvement, athletics, and leadership. Tyler is quarterback, student body vice president, and his family has donated significantly to the scholarship fund over the years. Emma felt her stomach drop. So money influences who gets money? I didn't say that, Principal Blackwell said quickly. I'm just preparing you for all possibilities. What's your backup plan if you don't win? Emma stared at her hands. I don't have one. Without that scholarship, I defer MIT for a year and work full-time. Maybe 2 years. MIT doesn't always hold spots for deferred students, Mrs. Freeman said softly. Especially in engineering. The weight of those words followed Emma to Patterson's Auto Repair that afternoon. She was scheduled for 20 hours that week, but Mr. Patterson met her at the door with bad news. Emma, I'm sorry, but I have to cut everyone's hours. My supplier raised prices and business has been slow. I can only give you 12 hours this week. 8 hours less meant $120 less. Every dollar counted. I understand, Mr. P. Thanks for keeping me on at all. At home, Emma found an eviction warning taped to their apartment door. 30 days' notice. Her mother sat at the kitchen table, head in her hands, surrounded by bills. Mom? Maria looked up, quickly wiping her eyes. The landlord is raising rent by $300 next month. We can't afford it. I've been looking for a cheaper place, but everything requires the first month, last month, and security deposit. I don't have that kind of cash available. Emma set down her backpack and sat beside her mother. What if I skip MIT this year? I could work full-time, help you save. Absolutely not. Maria's voice turned fierce. Your father didn't die so you could sacrifice your dreams for rent. We'll figure this out. But Emma could see the fear in her mother's eyes. They were running out of options. The next day at school, Emma volunteered to help set up the graduation stage in the gymnasium. She needed the community service hours for her scholarship application. As she arranged chairs, she overheard Tyler and Ashley talking near the bleachers. "My dad already made a call to the scholarship committee," Tyler said smugly. "Reminded them about our family's contributions. That $8 grand is basically mine. What are you even going to use it for?" Ashley asked. "You're going to USC on your parents' dime anyway." Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time, so if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now back to the story.
Doesn't matter.
It looks good on my resume. Besides, it'll be hilarious watching Rodriguez's face when she loses. Emma's hands clenched around the chair she was holding. She forced herself to keep working, to stay invisible. That evening, Marcus found her in the school workshop, working on her phoenix sculpture long after hours. "Emma, it's 8 p.m. You've been here since 3. I need to add one more element. The committee is judging projects this Friday." She stepped back, examining her work. "It has to be perfect. It already is perfect." "You're exhausted. When's the last time you slept a full night?" Emma didn't answer. Instead, she pulled out her phone and showed Marcus her banking app. "I have $340 in my account. Mom has maybe $200. Our rent is due in 12 days, and we're being evicted next month anyway. Mr. Patterson cut my hours. And Tyler Brennan's family is basically buying the scholarship that I actually need." "Emma, I'm fine, Marcus. I just need to work harder. Show them I deserve this, more than some rich kid who's using it as a resume line." She picked up her welding torch again. "Dad always said effort beats circumstances, so I'm going to out-effort everyone." Marcus watched his friend's hands shake slightly as she lit the torch. "When's the last time you ate?" "I had lunch. That was 7 hours ago." Emma waved him off and lowered her mask. The blue flame illuminated her workspace as she bent over the metal, determined and desperate. The following week brought more pressure. Métis Financial Aid Office called, needing confirmation of her enrollment. The auto shop had an unexpected repair bill for her Honda, $280 she didn't have. Her mother picked up a third part-time job cleaning offices at night. Emma started tutoring 3 students at $25 per hour, cramming sessions in between her own work and studies. She ran on coffee and determination, sleeping 4 hours a night. In AP government class, Mrs. Patterson handed back final exams. Emma stared at her paper, 91%, her first A- in the class all year. Tyler, sitting 2 rows back, laughed loudly. "Even the welding wonder is finally cracking." "Pressure's getting to you, Rodriguez?" Emma folded the test and slipped it into her bag without responding. But inside, a voice whispered fears she'd been trying to ignore. What if hard work wasn't enough? What if Tyler was right? What if she was fighting a battle she'd already lost? Friday arrived, project judging day. Emma wheeled her completed phoenix sculpture into the gymnasium, where the scholarship committee had set up evaluation stations. Her masterpiece gleamed under the lights, every weld perfect, every angle precise. She'd given it everything she had. Now all she could do was wait and hope that everything would be enough. Graduation day arrived under a blazing June sun. Roosevelt High's football field had been transformed with white folding chairs, a stage draped in the school colors of blue and gold, and families crowding the bleachers. Emma sat in the 3rd row of graduating seniors, her royal blue gown sticking to her skin in the heat. Marcus leaned over from his seat. "You ready for this?" Emma's hands trembled slightly in her lap. Inside her small purse was her phone, already open to MIT's enrollment portal. The moment she won the scholarship, if she won, she could submit her deposit immediately. The deadline was in 5 days, but she couldn't wait another minute once she had the funds. "Ladies and gentlemen," Principal Blackwell's voice boomed through the speakers. "Before we begin our commencement ceremony, we have a very special presentation. The Riverside Community Scholarship, generously funded by local businesses and families, will be awarded to one exceptional senior." Emma's heart hammered against her ribs. This year's recipient has demonstrated outstanding academic achievement, community involvement, and leadership. Please join me in congratulating Tyler Brennan! The world tilted. Emma sat frozen as Tyler swaggered onto the stage, his grin wide and triumphant. The scholarship committee president handed him an oversized ceremonial check for $8,000 while cameras flashed. In the bleachers, Tyler's parents stood and applauded, his father's expensive suit catching the sunlight. "No," Emma whispered. "No, no, no." Marcus grabbed her hand. "Emma, I'm so sorry. This is wrong." But Emma barely heard him. Her vision tunneled. IT was gone. Her father's dream for her was gone. Everything she'd worked for, every sleepless night, every sacrifice, gone to someone who didn't even need it. The ceremony continued in a blur. Names were called. Students walked across the stage. Emma moved like a robot when they called Emma Maria Rodriguez, accepting her diploma with a smile that felt like shattered glass. The moment the ceremony ended and caps flew into the air, Emma pushed through the crowd. She needed to get away, needed air, needed to think. Her mother was working an emergency shift at the diner. She couldn't even be here, and Emma was grateful because she couldn't bear to see the disappointment in her eyes. She made it to the parking lot, heading toward her Honda in the far corner. Her hands shook as she dug for her keys, tears finally breaking through. "Hey, Rodriguez!" Emma turned to find Tyler, Ashley, and Derek approaching. Tyler was still wearing his graduation gown, the $8,000 check in his hand. "Oh, are you crying?" "That's adorable." Tyler waved the check. "You know what's funny? I'm not even going to use this. My trust fund kicks in next month. I just couldn't let you have it." "Tyler, stop," Emma said quietly, trying to move past them, but Derek stepped in front of her Honda. "What's the matter? Upset that your little welding tricks weren't enough? Face it, Rodriguez. People like you don't get to win. You're just here to make people like us look good." Something inside Emma snapped. "Get out of my way." "Make us," Ashley taunted, pulling out her phone to record. Emma tried to push past Derek, but he shoved her back. She stumbled, her purse flying from her hands and spilling across the asphalt. Her phone skittered away, papers scattered, and there, among the contents, was an envelope. Tyler picked it up, his eyes widening. "What's this? Emergency MIT fund?" "Give that back!" Emma's voice cracked. Tyler opened the envelope and pulled out the bills inside. $340. This is your college fund? This is pathetic." "That's every dollar I have." Emma lunged for it, but Tyler held it high above his head. "Derek, catch!" He tossed the envelope to Derek, who caught it and started counting the bills. "Please," Emma begged, hating how desperate she sounded. "That's for my enrollment deposit. I need that money. Should have thought of that before you decided to compete with your betters," Tyler sneered. He grabbed the money from Derek and stuffed it into his own pocket. "Consider it a graduation gift to me. Consolation prize for having to sit through your pathetic speech about hard work at the scholarship dinner." Ashley laughed. "Come on, guys. Let's get out of here. The after party is starting." They walked away, leaving Emma on her knees in the parking lot, gathering her scattered belongings with shaking hands. The envelope lay empty on the ground beside her. Everything, her last $340, her phone screen cracked from the fall, her chance at MIT, broken on the hot pavement. Emma sat back against her car tire, hugging her knees to her chest. Graduates and families streamed past, celebrating, oblivious to the girl falling apart in the corner of the lot. The sun beat down mercilessly. Her graduation gown felt like a prison. She pulled out her cracked phone and opened her text messages to her mother. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. How could she tell her? How could she explain that she'd lost everything in the span of 2 hours? A sob broke from her throat, then another. 4 years of straight A's, hundreds of hours in the workshop, countless nights of 3 hours of sleep, working every available hour, sacrificing every teenage experience, all of it for nothing. Her father's voice echoed in her memory. "Mija, hard work beats privilege every time." But he was wrong. Sitting alone in that parking lot, Emma Rodriguez learned the cruelest lesson of her young life. Sometimes hard work isn't enough. Sometimes the world isn't fair. Sometimes people like Tyler win simply because they can. She didn't know that 50 feet away, a man in a leather vest was leaning against his Harley Davidson, watching everything unfold. And he was already pulling out his phone. Emma didn't hear the approaching footsteps. She was still crumpled against her Honda, trying to force air into her lungs between sobs, when a shadow fell across her. "Miss, you all right?" Emma looked up to see a man in his 50s, built like a bear, wearing a leather vest covered in patches. His grey beard was neatly trimmed, and his eyes, surprisingly gentle, studied her with concern. Behind him, a gleaming Harley-Davidson sat parked nearby. "I'm fine," Emma lied, quickly wiping her face. "No, you're not." The man crouched down to her level, his leather creaking. "Name's Jack Morrison. I was here watching my niece graduate when I saw what those punks did to you." He gestured to the now empty parking spaces. "Saw the whole thing?" Emma's throat tightened. "It doesn't matter. There's nothing anyone can do about it. How much did they take?" $340. "Everything I had." Emma's voice broke. "It was supposed to be my MIT enrollment deposit." Jack's jaw clenched. "MIT? You got into MIT? Doesn't matter now. I can't afford the deposit, and even if I could, I don't have the money for the first semester. I needed that scholarship they gave to the rich kid who didn't need it." Emma laughed bitterly. "Turns out merit doesn't matter when you're competing against money." Jack sat down on the curb beside her, his massive frame somehow non-threatening. "Can I tell you a story?" Emma wanted to say no, wanted to be left alone with her misery, but something in his tone made her nod. 32 years ago, I was exactly where you are. Not literally, different parking lot, different school, but same feeling. I'd gotten accepted to trade school for aviation mechanics. Full certification program. Would have changed my life. Jack's eyes grew distant. My old man was a drunk who gambled away every paycheck. My ma worked 3 jobs just to keep us fed. I scraped together $500 from working at a garage, everything I needed for the deposit and first month's tools. What happened? My father found it, took it to the casino. Lost it all in one night. Jack's voice remained steady, but Emma could hear the old pain beneath it. I was 17, angry at the world, and I made a decision that night. I decided if the system was rigged against people like me, then I'd rig it right back. Started running with a bad crowd. Small-time stuff at first. Theft, fighting. Then bigger things. Emma stared at him. "You were in a gang?" "Almost. I was one bad decision away from throwing my life away completely." Jack turned to look at her directly. "The night I was supposed to do my first real crime, help rob an electronics store, I got into a motorcycle accident. Broke my leg in 3 places. And while I was laid up in the hospital for 2 months, unable to go through with the robbery, my would-be partners got caught. All of them did 5 to 10 years. That accident saved you, more than you know. While I was recovering, one of the nurses, woman named Patricia, kept talking to me. Wouldn't let me wallow. She'd been in foster care, raised by the system, had every reason to be angry at the world. But she put herself through nursing school by working nights as a janitor." Jack smiled at the memory. "She told me something I'll never forget. Jack, the world doesn't owe you fairness. But that doesn't mean you have to become part of the problem. You can either spend your life being angry at what was taken from you, or you can build something new." Emma felt fresh tears welling. "How? How do you build something when you have nothing?" "You don't build alone. That's what I learned." Jack stood and offered her his hand, pulling her to her feet. "After I healed up, I went to a local motorcycle shop. Owner was a vet, guy named Buck Stevens. I told him my story, all of it, the good and the ugly. Asked him for a job, any job. He took a chance on me. Taught me everything about motorcycles. Eventually, I bought that shop from him. Now I own 3 locations. That's an amazing story, but I don't see how. I married Patricia, the nurse. We started the Iron Brotherhood. That's my motorcycle club. But we're not what you might think. We're veterans, mechanics, teachers, business owners. Every single one of us came from nothing. Every single one of us got knocked down hard by life." Jack's voice grew stronger. "And every single one of us believes in helping kids who are where we once were." Emma's breath caught. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because 5 minutes ago I made a phone call. Got about 40 of my brothers and sisters who were in the area. They're on their way here right now." Jack checked his watch. "Should be pulling up any minute, actually." "I don't understand. Emma Rodriguez. Yeah, I heard them say your name. You've got a decision to make. You can let what happened today define you. Let those entitled punks make you believe that hard work doesn't matter, that people like us don't get to win. Or did the sound of rumbling engines filled the air? Emma turned to see motorcycles, dozens of them, pulling into the parking lot in a coordinated formation. Harley's Indians triumphs, all ridden by men and women in leather vests, bearing the Iron Brotherhood patch. Jack grinned. Or you can let us show you what happens when people like us stick together. Emma stood frozen as 45 bikers dismounted and began walking toward her, every face serious and purposeful. At the front of the group, a woman with silver hair and kind eyes carried something in her hands. Jack put a gentle hand on Emma's shoulder. Kid, your life is about to change. Question is, are you ready to accept help? Because that's the hardest lesson of all, knowing when to let people catch you when you fall. The silver-haired woman reached Emma first. Up close, Emma could see the laugh lines around her eyes and the Iron Brotherhood patch on her vest, alongside another that read, Trauma Nurse, 22 years. Emma, my name is Patricia Morrison, Jack's wife. She extended her hand and Emma shook it numbly. We heard what happened, and we'd like to do something about it. I don't understand what you mean. Patricia turned to address the assembled bikers. Who here came from nothing? Every single hand went up. Who here got told they'd never amount to anything? The hands stayed up. Who here had someone give them a chance when they needed it most? The hands remained raised, but now Emma saw nods, saw people exchanging knowing glances. A younger biker stepped forward, maybe in his late 20s with tattoos covering his arms. I'm Danny Reeves. 8 years ago, I aged out of foster care with a drug addiction and no high school diploma. Jack gave me a job sweeping floors at his shop. Told me if I got clean and got my GED, he'd teach me to be a mechanic. Danny's voice grew stronger. Now I'm his head technician and 2 years sober. I make $60,000 a year doing something I love, another voice called out. Teresa Nguyen, single mother of 3. Lost my job during the pandemic. The Brotherhood helped me start a catering business. Now I employ 8 people. Marcus, no relation to your friend, a black man with graying temples said. Was about to lose my house after my disability claim got denied. These folks organized a fundraiser, raised $15,000 in 2 weeks. Story after story poured out. Emma's eyes widened as she realized she was standing in a circle of people who had all been where she was, broken, defeated, convinced the world had won. Jack stepped back into the center. Emma, we take care of our own. And right now, you're one of our own. We're going to help you get to MIT, but I'm not part of your club. You don't even know me. We know enough, Patricia said gently. We know you work hard. We know you're talented. We know you got knocked down by people who have never had to fight for anything. She glanced at Jack. And we know potential when we see it. Jack pulled out his phone and showed Emma a video. It was footage from the parking lot. Tyler stealing her money, all 3 of them mocking her, Ashley recording it on her phone. Crystal clear evidence. I sent this to my lawyer already. We're filing charges, theft, harassment, assault. Those kids are going to face consequences. Jack's expression hardened. But that takes time. You need help now. A large biker with Navy vet embroidered on his vest stepped forward with a helmet in his hands. He turned it over, and Emma saw it was filled with cash, bills of all denominations stuffed inside. We've been passing this around for the last 5 minutes while Jack was talking to you, the vet said. Everyone contributed what they could. 45 members present, Patricia added. Some gave $20. Some gave $500. It's not about the amount. It's about showing up. The vet handed Emma the helmet. She looked inside and her knees nearly buckled. Hundreds of bills packed tight. Count it, Jack said. Emma's hands trembled as she began pulling out money and organizing it into piles on the hood of her Honda. $20 bills, 50s, 100s. The other graduates and families still in the parking lot had stopped to watch, forming a curious crowd at a distance. When she finished counting, Emma stared at the total in disbelief. $8,460, she whispered. Patricia smiled. The $8,000 covers your first semester completely. The extra $4.60 replaces what was stolen, plus a little cushion for books. Emma's vision blurred with tears. I can't. This is too much. I can't accept this. Yes, you can, Danny said firmly. Because someday, when you're a successful engineer, you're going to do the same thing for someone else. That's how this works. We don't give handouts. We give hand-ups. And we expect you to reach down and pull someone else up when your time comes. Jack crossed his arms. There is one condition, though. Emma's stomach tightened. What condition? You have to promise us something. Jack's expression grew serious. Promise that you won't let what happened today make you bitter. Don't let those punks turn you into someone who believes the world is only cruel, because it's not. For every Tyler Brennan out there are 45 people like us. You just have to know where to look. Emma clutched the helmet full of money to her chest, overwhelmed. Why? Why would you do this for a complete stranger? Patricia stepped closer and placed both hands on Emma's shoulders. Because 32 years ago, a nurse told a broken kid in a hospital bed that he could build something new. Because 20 years ago, a veteran gave an ex-foster kid a job when no one else would. Because 8 years ago, a shop owner believed in a drug addict when he couldn't believe in himself. Her eyes glistened. We do this because someone did it for us. And because the world changes one person at a time, Jack extended his hand. So Emma Rodriguez, do you accept our help? Do you promise to pay it forward someday? Emma looked at the faces surrounding her, scarred, weathered, kind faces that had seen hardship and chosen hope anyway. She thought about her father, about what he would say if he were here. She shook Jack's hand firmly. I promise. I swear I'll make you proud. You already have, kid, Jack said with a grin. Now let's get you enrolled in MIT. Emma sat in the passenger seat of Jack's truck as they pulled up to the police station. Patricia followed on her Harley, with a convoy of 10 other Iron Brotherhood members behind them. It was 3 days after graduation, and Emma was about to do something she never thought she'd have the courage to do. You sure about this? Jack asked, putting the truck in park. Emma clutched the flash drive containing the parking lot video. They need to face consequences. Not just for me, for everyone they've ever done this to. Inside the station, Detective Sarah Chen listened to Emma's account while watching the video footage. Her expression remained neutral and professional, but Emma saw her jaw tighten when Tyler shoved Emma and took the money. This is clear-cut robbery and assault, Detective Chen said. With this footage, we have everything we need. I'll contact the district attorney's office today. What happens to them? Emma asked quietly. That depends on several factors. Their age, criminal history, willingness to make restitution. But at minimum, they're looking at misdemeanor charges. Could be elevated to felony, depending on how the DA proceeds. Detective Chen closed her laptop. Emma, I want you to know, filing charges is the right thing. Bullies continue because nobody stops them. As they left the station, Emma spotted a familiar car in the parking lot. Her mother's sedan. Maria Rodriguez was running toward them, still in her diner uniform. Mija! I got your text. Are you okay? Maria pulled Emma into a tight hug, then noticed the bikers. Her eyes widened. What's going on? Emma spent the next 20 minutes explaining everything. The stolen money, the Iron Brotherhood, the 8,460, and the police report. Maria's expressions cycled through shock, anger, gratitude, and finally tears. You helped my daughter? Maria asked Jack, her voice breaking. She reminds us why we do this, Jack replied simply. Maria turned to her daughter. You enrolled at MIT. Emma pulled out her phone and showed her mother the confirmation email. Full payment received. I start orientation in 8 weeks. Maria covered her mouth with both hands, tears streaming freely now. Your father. He would be so proud. He'd be proud of both of us, Mom. Emma squeezed her mother's hand. You never gave up. You kept working, kept believing. That's where I learned it from. 2 weeks later, Emma stood in Roosevelt High's library for a special community meeting. Principal Blackwell had organized it after the news of Tyler, Ashley, and Derek's arrests spread through town. Local news had picked up the story. Bikers rallied to help bullied graduate reach dreams. The library was packed. Students, parents, teachers, and a dozen Iron Brotherhood members standing along the back wall. Principal Blackwell approached the microphone. "We've gathered today because our school failed one of our best students. We allowed a culture where wealth and influence overshadowed merit and character. Emma Rodriguez has agreed to speak about her experience, not for revenge, but to ensure this never happens to another student." Emma walked to the front, her heart pounding. She'd prepared no speech, no script. She simply spoke from the heart. "3 weeks ago, I believed that hard work was enough. That if I just pushed harder, sacrificed more, I could overcome any obstacle." Emma's voice was steady. "I was wrong. Hard work matters, but it's not always enough on its own. Sometimes the system is rigged. Sometimes people with power abuse it. And sometimes you need help." She gestured to the Iron Brotherhood members. "These people taught me that asking for help isn't weakness, it's wisdom. They showed me that community matters, that strangers can become family when they share values. They proved that for every person who tries to tear you down, there are dozens more ready to lift you up." Emma paused, looking directly at the section where Tyler's friends sat. Tyler, Ashley, and Derek were notably absent, restricted from campus pending their court dates. "I'm not going to stand here and say everything works out if you just believe. That's a fairy tale. Sometimes bad things happen to good people. Sometimes bullies win. Sometimes you lose money you desperately need, and your dreams seem impossible." Emma's voice grew stronger. "But you know what I learned? How you respond to those moments defines your character more than the moments themselves." A hand raised in the audience. Jennifer Park, one of the other scholarship finalists. "Yes, Jennifer? Did you ever find out why Tyler wanted that scholarship so badly if he didn't even need it?" Emma considered the question. "I think some people measure their worth by what they can take from others. They need to win, even when winning means nothing to them, because they can't stand to see someone else succeed." She shook her head. "I feel sorry for people like that. They'll never know what it feels like to truly earn something." Mrs. Freeman, Emma's guidance counselor, stood up. "Emma, would you be willing to share your story with incoming freshmen? Help them understand there are people who will support them." "Absolutely." And Emma glanced at Jack, who nodded encouragingly. "The Iron Brotherhood has agreed to establish a scholarship fund right here at Roosevelt High. $5,000 annually for a student who demonstrates resilience, character, and determination in the face of adversity. It'll be called the Second Chance Scholarship." The room erupted in applause. Emma saw her mother in the front row, crying and clapping. She saw Mr. Hendricks, her welding teacher, beaming with pride. She saw Marcus giving her a thumbs up, but most importantly, she saw students she didn't even know, younger kids, scared kids, kids who looked like they'd been carrying the weight of the world, looking at her with something she recognized: hope. After the meeting, a sophomore girl approached Emma nervously. "Can I ask you something?" "Of course. I'm being bullied too. Not like what happened to you, but it's bad. How did you keep going?" Emma crouched down to the girl's eye level. "You find your people. Not everyone will understand your struggle, but someone will. And those someones make all the difference." She pulled out a business card Jack had given her. "This is the Iron Brotherhood's community outreach number. They help with all kinds of situations. Promise me you'll call if you need support." The girl clutched the card like a lifeline. "I promise. And thank you for speaking up. It helps knowing I'm not alone." As Emma walked out of the library, Jack fell into step beside her. "You did good there, kid. I just told the truth. Sometimes that's the bravest thing you can do." 5 years later, sleek glass building in downtown Boston reflected the autumn sunlight as Emma Rodriguez pulled into the executive parking garage. Her Tesla Model 3, purchased with her own money after 2 years of saving, hummed quietly as she parked in her designated spot. The placard read, "Emma Rodriguez, Lead Mechanical Engineer, Prosthetics Division." She grabbed her leather portfolio and headed to the elevator, exchanging greetings with security. At 23 years old, Emma had graduated from MIT with highest honors, earned 2 patents for innovative prosthetic limb designs, and now led a team of 12 engineers at Biotech Innovations. But today wasn't about work. Today was special. Emma entered the conference room where her team had gathered. On the screen was a live video feed from Roosevelt High School in California, 3 time zones away, but never far from her heart. "Morning, boss," called out her colleague, Dr. James Wright, a 40-year-old veteran engineer who'd initially been skeptical about working under someone so young. "We're connected." "They're ready on the other end." Emma smiled and waved at the screen. Principal Blackwell, now with grayer hair but the same warm smile, waved back from the Roosevelt High Library. Behind him sat 15 students, all scholarship recipients from the Iron Brotherhood's Second Chance Scholarship Fund. "Good morning, everyone," Emma began. 5 years ago, I sat where you're sitting, scared, uncertain, wondering if I'd ever make it out of my circumstances." She paused, letting that sink in. "Today, I'm here to tell you it's possible. But more importantly, I'm here to announce something." She nodded to Dr. Wright, who pulled up a presentation. Biotech Innovations has partnered with the Iron Brotherhood to expand the Second Chance Scholarship. Starting next year, we're funding 10 full-ride scholarships to accredited universities for students pursuing STEM fields. That's $200,000 annually in total scholarships. The students on screen erupted in cheers. Emma felt her throat tighten with emotion. "But that's not all," she continued. "We're also launching a summer internship program. 20 paid positions at Biotech for high school juniors and seniors interested in engineering. You'll work alongside professionals, learn real skills, and build your resumes." Principal Blackwell stood, visibly moved. "Emma, on behalf of Roosevelt High and our students, thank you. You've never forgotten where you came from." "How could I?" Emma replied softly. "This school, this community, it shaped who I am." After the video call ended, Emma checked her watch. She had 3 hours before her flight back to California for the scholarship ceremony. But first, she had one more meeting. She took the T to a cafe in Cambridge, near MIT's campus. Sitting at a corner table with a laptop was Marcus Chen, now finishing his MBA at Harvard Business School. "There she is, the famous engineer," Marcus grinned as Emma sat down. "How's the prosthetics project going?" "We just got FDA approval for the new pediatric limb design. It'll be 40% cheaper than current models and grow with the child. Launches next quarter." Emma ordered a coffee. "How's the startup?" "We just closed Series A funding, $3 million. The app officially launches in January." Marcus's tech startup connected low-income students with professional mentors in their desired fields. "We've got 500 mentors signed up and 2,000 students on the wait list." "Dad would be proud of us," Emma said, then caught herself. "I mean your dad and mine." Marcus reached across and squeezed her hand. They'd both lost fathers who believed in education as the path forward. They'd both nearly lost their chances, and they'd both made it through. "Speaking of pride," Marcus said carefully, "have you heard?" "Heard what?" "About Tyler Brennan." Emma's expression remained neutral. "No, I stopped following that story years ago." He got convicted. Misdemeanor theft and assault, community service and restitution. But more importantly, Marcus pulled up an article on his phone. His family's dealership chain filed for bankruptcy 6 months ago. Bad investments, fraud allegations against his father. Tyler's working at a car rental place now, barely making ends meet. Emma read the article in silence. She felt no satisfaction, no vindication, no joy. Just a quiet sadness. "Karma's real," Marcus offered. "Maybe. Or maybe bad decisions catch up to everyone eventually." Emma handed back the phone. "I hope he learned something from it all." "I genuinely do." That evening, Emma landed at LAX and drove straight to Murphy's Bar, the Iron Brotherhood's unofficial headquarters. The parking lot was full of motorcycles, just like always. Inside, the walls were covered with photos, charity events, fundraisers, and an entire section dedicated to scholarship recipients. Emma's photo from 5 years ago hung prominently, her standing with Jack and Patricia, holding that helmet full of cash, tears streaming down her face. "There's our girl." Jack's voice boomed across the bar. He looked older now, moving a bit slower, but his bear hug was just as strong. Patricia appeared beside him, pulling Emma into an embrace. "We saw the news about the expanded scholarship," Patricia said. "Emma, you didn't have to do that." "Yes, I did. I made a promise, remember? Pay it forward." Emma looked around at the familiar faces. Danny, now managing 2 of Jack's shops. Teresa, whose catering company employed 30 people. Marcus, the biker, not her friend, who'd become a youth counselor. "Actually, I have something for you both." Emma pulled out an envelope. "Biotech wants to sponsor the Iron Brotherhood's community outreach programs. $50,000 annually for the next 5 years. For the food drives, the job training programs, all of it." Jack's eyes glistened. "Emma, you gave me a chance when I had nothing. You showed me that community matters more than individual success. This isn't charity. This is investment in something that works." Emma's voice grew passionate. "The Iron Brotherhood model, lifting people up, teaching them to lift others. It's more effective than any government program I've seen. You change lives one person at a time, and those people change more lives. It's exponential." Patricia wiped her eyes. "Your father would be so proud." "I think about him every day," Emma admitted. "Every prosthetic limb we design, I think about the veterans who need them. Every scholarship we fund, I think about the promises he couldn't keep but taught me to honor. He didn't live to see me graduate high school, but somehow I feel like he sees everything now." The bar door opened, and Maria Rodriguez entered, now retired from the diner and working part-time at Emma's old high school as a teacher's aide. She'd moved into a comfortable apartment, rent paid for by Emma, and finally had the stability she'd worked her whole life to achieve. "There's my brilliant daughter," Maria beamed, embracing Emma, always working, just like your father. "Actually, Mom, I learned balance. Remember?" Emma laughed. "I work hard, but I also rest. I push myself, but I know my limits. I dream big, but I stay grounded." She looked around at the Iron Brotherhood members. "These people taught me that success isn't about how much you achieve. It's about how many people you bring with you." Later that night, Emma stood outside Murphy's bar, looking up at the stars. Her phone buzzed with emails, work requests, interview opportunities, speaking invitations. The world wanted more from her, always more, but tonight she silenced her phone. Tonight was for remembering. She thought about that parking lot 5 years ago. The despair, the emptiness, the moment she believed hard work didn't matter. She'd been wrong. Hard work did matter, but so did the community. So did asking for help. So did lifting others while climbing yourself. A Harley pulled up beside her, a younger woman, maybe 19, with the Iron Brotherhood prospect patch on her vest. "You're Emma Rodriguez, right? The engineer?" "That's me." "I'm Sarah. I just got my acceptance letter to Cal Poly for mechanical engineering. Got the second chance scholarship." Sarah's voice trembled with excitement. "I wanted to say thank you. I'm the first person in my family to go to college. This scholarship, it changed everything." Emma smiled, remembering another parking lot, another moment of impossible hope. "No, Sarah, you changed everything. The scholarship just opened the door. You're the one who's going to walk through it and build something amazing. Would you be my mentor?" "I know you're busy, but yes," Emma said immediately. "Absolutely yes. In fact, I mentor 5 other students right now. You'll be number 6. She pulled out her business card. "Email me your schedule. We'll set up monthly video calls. I'll help you navigate college, internships, job searches, all of it." Sarah clutched the card like it was made of gold. "Why? Why would you do this for me?" Emma looked back at Murphy's bar, where through the window she could see Jack and Patricia laughing with their club members. She thought about Marcus, building his own company to help others. She thought about her mother, finally at peace. She thought about her father, whose sacrifice had planted seeds that grew into forests, because 5 years ago, 45 people I'd never met gave me 8,160 and changed my life. They asked for only one thing in return, that I pay it forward. Emma met Sarah's eyes. "So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'll always do, because the world changes one person at a time, and tonight you're that person for me." As Sarah rode away on her Harley, Emma heard the familiar rumble of more motorcycles approaching. The Iron Brotherhood was heading out for their weekly ride, a tradition of freedom and friendship. Jack appeared at the door. "You riding with us tonight, kid?" Emma grinned. 3 years ago, she got her motorcycle license. Her Harley Sportster, cherry red, custom exhaust was parked inside the garage. "Wouldn't miss it," she said, as the convoy of motorcycles roared through the California night. Emma Rodriguez rode alongside the people who'd saved her life. The wind whipped through her hair, the engine thrummed beneath her, and the stars stretched endlessly above. She'd come from nothing, been knocked down hard, lost everything that mattered, but she'd gotten back up. And she'd brought others with her. That, she realized, was the real American dream. Not individual success, not personal glory, but the chance to lift someone else up the way you'd been lifted, one helmet full of cash at a time, one scholarship at a time, one life at a time. Up next, you've got 2 more standout stories right on your screen. If this one hits the mark, you won't want to pass these up. Just click and check them out. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any upload from us.